Out at his life resuscitation class. They're having a class out in Berkeley, California on mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and saving lives.
It sounds like Joe Vig somewhere.
Hey, are you back from your resuscitation class?
You know, it happened at 11:30, and they didn't call us back with the info until it was too late for this week. But we can do it almost any time, Joe.
You sound magnificent. I just had Barbara Harris on the phone.
Really?
The Toys.
Oh, love me as a rainbow. Hello?
Well, this is, can you hear me good?
I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, because they have my mic going into the phone, and so I'm always yelling, but I don't need to yell. All right, listen to this. You're the second person in the universe to hear this. Leslie Uggams is hosting the show 2 weeks from tonight in Manhattan at the Apollo.
And the last you said?
Leslie Uggams at the Apollo.
Oh, good.
2 weeks from tonight is with Barbara Harris, Dionne Warwick. Bobby Hebb's manager is helping put this together with Charles Rosnay.
That's wonderful.
So we wanted Bill Cosby. We wanted your friend Cosby. Do you have his number still? Call him up for us.
Sure, he'd love to hear about it.
You know, I'm going to go through the video company. He has a new video out.
And he's got a new show about to start. I don't know details, but I was about to send him a message anyhow to feel it out. When I was in trouble a couple years ago, I put out the word somewhere. I guess I left a message at his business number, and boy, he called back in a couple hours. So give me the dates.
The date is 2 weeks from tonight, February 6th. Now, Bill lives in Western Mass, and it's Dionne Warwick, Mary Wilson of the Supremes, Lulu to Sir with Love, Gary U.S. Bonds, Lloyd Price, Personality, Bobby Hebb's daughter, Kitoto Von Hebb, doing Sunny, and the Beatles Something.
Oh, Stagger Lee, oh my God.
You know, isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
It's amazing. So,
what is the exact...
It's a benefit concert for the New York City Food Bank.
Okay.
So it's total 100% benefit.
Outstanding.
And it's the night before the Beatles arrived at Ed Sullivan 50 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So the R&B show is the night before. I think the night of, they're going to have Tommy James and your good friend, Ian Lloyd.
Yeah, and my good friend, Gary U.S. Bond.
You know, if we can get you out here somehow, you know, you could be on this bill. It'd be wonderful.
That would be outstanding. Reintroduce friends.
You do Friends, and then you have to do a Beatles song.
Oh, yeah, that If I Fell would be...
Oh, wow, because you did it on the Red album, right?
Yes. That would be great, the Red EP. Thanks for remembering.
I'm going to send Charles Rosnay and Art a note tonight, see about getting you on the bill. How about that?
I'm ready to go.
I mean, Buzzy, that would be amazing, right? From Berkeley to New York in the blink of an eye.
I lived in New York 17 years. I watched it all happen. I remember when Jimmy played his first gigs.
Jimi Hendrix, people.
Yes, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, this is the return of Buzzy Linhart on Windcam, isn't it?
So is Barbara on with us now, but I can't hear her voice?
No, she was on earlier.
I see, okay.
Now, in her band is Margaret Ross Williams of the Cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Chains, my baby's got me locked up in chains.
Wrapped up in chains.
Wrapped up in chains, okay.
Ain't the kind that you can see, those chains of love got a hold on me, yeah. Bum, 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 bum.
See, I was thinking of an ex there because the ex wanted me to beat it with whips and chains and locked in the basement, okay? But I hightailed it out of there at 5 in the morning. That's why I think locked up in chains. I swear to God, it's honest to God truth. Joe beat me with my whips and chains, and I was like gone in an instant.
Yeah. I already left.
And so, like, you know, we're in the safe harbor of, like, it's just, you know, funny stuff. It's just humor. Don't listen to that man behind the door. Anyway, it never happened because I bolted. So there, we can talk about it.
Do not pull his finger. Do not.
It's too funny. My life is too funny. Anyways, is it sunny out there? It's very cold here, you know.
We've been having inordinately warm days. Today's was in the 70s. We had 80s last week. But, you know, just 2.5 months ago, we broke the record for all-time cold. It hit 24, bro.
Which is a heat wave out here.
Yeah, that's right. It's much too hot.
Heat wave.
But you know, the baby's back, Joe. It's been coming back, and
That's how I know how my health's improving when the little guy.
was able to take part in the conversation, right, Pop?
Right, kid.
You sound great. You sound great.
Thanks, Joe.
Are you on email yet? Did you get a tablet? Do you look at email?
You know, my laptop broke down, and we might be able to use the keyboard off the Dell stationery, but I managed to lose the charger cord. So on the first, when we get $5, Chris is gonna buy one, and we'll charge it up and see if we can use the other keyboard, because I have the new stuff stored in there. Are we on the air, or are we talking?
Of course we're on the air.
I thought so.
Is that Lara in the background, or Lana? Lara.
No, that's Lara's sweetheart, Christopher Long Rabbit. Hello.
Hey, Christopher Long Rabbit.
How's it going?
So I've been trying to call Valerie Vinay. Do you know Valerie?
I remember Nick Vinay's wife.
Yeah. Nick was a dear friend of mine, you know.
Yes, and I was at the Sessions, the second Session album that he did with Fred Neil.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Wow, we got to talk about that. So, wow, what was recorded?
Well, the thing is that Fred was shy, and he would spend months down in Florida swimming with the dolphins. Actually, swimming with the dolphins is a project with the college down there, and a famous dolphin keeper guy. Beautiful shots with him swimming with the dolphins. But he would lose the calluses, you know, on his left hand, on his guitar fretting hand, and then it takes a couple of weeks to build that up again, especially if you're playing 12-string. So when he would wind up in New York, and he wouldn't have enough callus, so when that session happened, we all went there. Would you believe there was 7 other acoustic guitar players?
Sure.
And most of them were kind of falling asleep. They were going to the bathroom, and they would come back and take turns falling asleep, if you know what I mean. And it was crazy. But that first Session album where Fred sings Percy Mayfield's song, you know the one I'm talking, show the world how to get along. Peacefully enter when all hate is gone. And if it's not asking too much, please send me somebody to love. It's a beautiful thing from the 40s.
I don't know Percy. I know Curtis Mayfield.
Exactly. And Percy was about to be a giant star, and he was in an accident, and it scarred his face terribly. And it was just too much to ask people, except hardcore aficionados of his stuff. It was asking too much to, you know, just sad. It mangled his face.
Now, were you friends with Fred? You were friends with Fred Neil, of course.
Yeah.
So Fred brought you to the session with Nick.
And when Fred sang that, he did it about 2 octaves lower than I am. It's just him and a stand-up bass player. And I would recommend it in my top 10 choices of all time as something you must hear. But
I'm gonna go now listen to it. You know, wow.
Yeah, get ready for to be really shy after you hear this guy's voice.
So, was this in New York City?
That was recorded. Where did Nick do that? I would suppose it could have been in Florida, and I don't recall. I can picture the album. It's a hand-drawn blue tinted cover, but the greatest bass voice of all time. Just incredible. You just want to turn off the lights and hear him sing the phone book.
And everyone knows he's famous for Everybody's Talking at Me, Midnight Cowboy.
But a lot of people, because Harry Nilsson sang it, a lot of people said, that's Harry Nilsson's song, and Nilsson itself sounded like Fred Neil's song, Nils.
Oh, Fred Nielsen, right. No, I got some sad news now.
Yeah.
Another engineer has passed away. Did you hear?
No.
Your friend, the news came from, your friend is still alive. Your friend Jack Douglas posted that Roy Cicala died yesterday.
Holy crap.
So Roy Cicala, who of course probably worked with you, right?
Yeah. And a lot of these guys, like Jack Douglas, was originally, I believe, a button pusher. He had already had degrees, but just to be one of the people who would assist the head engineers for a while first. I remember when a lot of them, when Shelley Yakis and those guys were just barely out of their teens, and Shelley was producing with John Lennon when John invited me into the Mind Game session.
Oh, wow. So you went to the Mind Game session.
Well, Maypang was trying to get him to listen to my album, The Time to Live Is Now. Available again now.
Well, we don't talk about where it's available, so, because we're a nonprofit here, but that's okay.
Thanks for reminding me.
That's all right. But Maypang wanted him to hear The Time to Live Is Now.
Yes, and apparently he had 3 or 4 long rows of LPs leaning, coming a few feet from the wall, some very long, and she kept putting The Time to Live Is Now at the she would go in halfway through the day, and if he had worked his way past it, we'd call her at noon to find out whether he had listened to it yet, and she'd say, no, it's still, the package, the still shrink wrap is still sealed. But he was so funny because he had seen my face so many times because she kept moving to the front row that he thought he knew me. When he saw me in the lobby, he said, I know you. And I said, no, you don't. It was just a dream way to meet John Lennon, to be able to joke a little with him. And he insisted he knew him. I said, no, you don't. Yes, I do. And I said, no, but Maypang has been moving my record to the front of the rows, hoping you would hear it. And I think that's how you know my face. He said, well, come on in then. And pulls me into the session. Jim Keltner was on drums, and oh my God. I was glad to be there, but I stayed for a half hour, and then I didn't want to overstay my welcome. But
never wear out your welcome. Good move.
Yeah.
I live by that.
Yeah, and I proved that it would go the wrong way if you did wear it out. So.
Now, on January 9th, Gary Private was on my previous show 2 weeks ago. And Gary Private was working in New York for Atlantic Records. He was signed to Atlantic, but he was like on the lower end of the totem pole, so they put him on at 3 in the morning in the studios, right? And John Lennon and his engineer come running in, and they bumped Gary Private. So we had the Gary Private story 2 weeks ago. And, it was probably Roy Cicala or Douglas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, but Gary told us that story. Now you've given us this great Mind Game story. But this is interesting, Buzzy. When Jack Douglas posted it last night, I put my condolences, but the news media picked up Jack Douglas's announcement on Facebook. What do you think of that? So.
And what was it officially?
Well, Jack Douglas wrote that Roy Cicala had passed away,
Gotcha.
So the media went to Facebook, and then there was like an article, and it was quoting Jack Douglas off of his Facebook, which I found it's like very interesting that here we are, the insiders, you know, reading what Jack's writing contemporaneous as he's writing it, and then the media is picking up what he's writing on Facebook. It was totally interesting how the news now travels these days.
He's like the Dalai Lama or something.
Jack Douglas?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in the hell he went through losing John, of course, and oh, my God. And imagine having to mix that record after John was gone. And
oh, yeah. How do you mix without John being there, you know?
right. Exactly.
Um,
Boy, they did a nice job with that Free as a Bird John Lennon thing, though.
I love
that.
it.
And that was the great, help me, the guy who I dream of working with.
Jeff Lynne?
Jeff Lynne.
Jeff Lynne would be great with you.
I think so, too, because he really stylizes it. And I think he would bring out things that could flatter derangements I have it, you know, just the notes I have in mind.
Did you say derangements or arrangements?
Truth.
Derangements. Derangements by Buzzy and Joe. We just deranged here on the show.
Oh.
Deranged. My ex-wife's name was Deranged. She's on my Facebook. You can find, she still goes under Deranged.
Home with Deranged.
Back in the 70s in the Rat nightclub, she'd come in with blue hair. Now, no one had blue hair back then. It was like the mid-70s, before people were coloring their hair.
When I was in the nursing home after, a few months ago, I guess it was 6 months ago, when I managed to have 2 heart attacks and 3 strokes in 4 days, and was in the hospital when the last ones came. But, I really needed to rest. I'd been overworking and worried, and so...
That's okay. We can talk to Frank Dell'Estrito, but we appreciate your input. And if you're feeling up to it, we should talk to Art and see if we can get you to New York.
Yeah, I sure would love it.
Sounds like your bell.
We're happening here. That's lovely Lara Makovitz.
Oh, I thought it was the Avon lady.
Here.
Is it a Tupperware party?
You know, this thing doesn't burp, so maybe not.
Okay. Buzzy Linhart, it's good to have you back on Visual Radio.
Thank you, Joe Vig. Love you.
I love you too, man. Talk soon.
For now.
Bye-bye. That was Buzzy Linhart giving a little John Lennon stuff. And always fun.